All right. We are live now. I just got to send out the links and then we will be good to go. All right. We are live now. I just got to send out the links and then we will be good to go. All right. Everyone was talking about your red background.
Oh yeah,
They were laughing at it.
I like it.
I think it's sick.
It's just I just have some lights to my left.
Makes it look super cool in there.
Yeah,
Okay. Now I gotta let me get this all. Alright. So, Tony, how was your day today?
it was a good day. Took some trades early. Kind of called it there, but there was some really nice action. I forget what time it was. And with all the election stuff going on and CPI tomorrow, it's kind of anyone's guess how the market reacts. And then we had that. I don't know too much about it, but I saw some info on and some people in my Discord were talking about that big time crypto fiasco that's going on. I don't know if
Oh my gosh, dude.
yeah.
That is fucking nuts. We can look at the chart later, but
So yeah, today was weird. Tomorrow's gonna be weird. I mean, really, the rest of the week.
I'm interested to see how midterms plus CPI ends up affecting.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I feel like when we have midterms as close to such a pivotal CPI and then such a Bitcoin thing going on, like, holy shit, bro.
Yeah, a lot's going on all at the same time.
It's going to have to be like something major. We're going to have to see some sort of like crazy spy move. I feel like tomorrow, probably. It's been like we saw a pretty decent move today, but I could see something absolutely nuts. And I think we're gonna get like deep into it when we talk about CPI later this episode. But for now, bro, I want to thank everybody for tuning in off the bat. I'm sure we'll gain some more viewers, come a few minutes into this. But yeah, it's been a crazy week so far. Midterms. I don't even know what to say about the midterms. Like it's not the red wave that a lot of Twitter was expecting, but red wave probably would have been better for the market. So we saw some drawdown today based on that. Usually, market is healthy as shit when it's Congress belongs to one party, presidency belongs to the other party. But now it's looking like we're going to have presidency belong to the Democrats and then split Congress. Unless something's happened in the past few hours. I haven't even looked in the past few hours. But it's looking like it'll be split Congress. Super interesting. We're going to see how it plays out, too, because usually in the presidency midterm, the in-house president, their party gets wrecked that midterm, and it didn't quite happen this year. So we're going to see some interesting market movement. Did you have any? Did you see any crazy stuff that people were talking about when it comes to like polling and stuff?
Yeah, I saw that. I also know that in my state, Pennsylvania, fucking Dr. Oz was running. Did you see that? You know who that is?
Yep, Doctor, the guy who was literally had the TV show Doctor Oz.
Yeah, so my state's all effed up. But
Everyone hated both of those. Like for some reason, everyone talked mad shit about your guys' like both candidates.
yeah, I am not very politically sound. I'm not gonna pretend to really know what I'm talking about when it comes to politics, but I just kind of looked into both candidates, and I don't know. I couldn't. I know it. Everybody should go out and vote, but it's hard to vote for somebody or two people that you just don't really agree with either way, and so. Unfortunately, I didn't vote, but I know in my state specifically, it's kind of a shit show at the moment. I don't
Yeah.
know how it is where you're at, but
Biggest thing for me, dude, is I didn't get a sticker. I don't know what the fuck was going on there. They had a sticker shortage. They were being all weird with the stickers and stuff. They didn't hand them out to me, and I was kind of salty. I was ready for my sticker so that I could have it on my shirt all day, flaunt that I
that's funny.
voted. But
Hmm.
dude, I didn't get shit. I went out
Like Ash
hunting today.
Wednesday.
Yeah, dude, I
Uh,
went. I was excited. I wanted it on my forehead, to be honest.
You went hunting today.
Oh yeah, I was trying to shoot a deer. I saw like
You see any?
5 does and stuff. I got home literally like 5 minutes ago. Before this, I was out for a couple hours, and I did not end up shooting anything. There were a bunch of them that walked right beneath me, but there were no bucks. So I just sat back and relaxed and looked at the
It's
deer.
it gets dark now so early.
I hate
Like
it.
it's been dark. It gets dark here at like 4:15.
Yeah, it
So
was it was literally yeah, like 5 o'clock, and it was like almost pitch black outside.
yeah, every year I just get so tired. Like I'm exhausted. It's 8 o'clock only. Like it's the time change really.
It makes me want to go to bed so early.
Yeah, messes me up.
Imagine if we were people that do you know there's people out there that wake up every single time, like every single day, just to the sun and then go to bed with the sun?
That's funny you say that. My Nona wakes up every day at like 4 a.m. and goes to sleep at like 5 p.m. every single day.
Jeez, bro, she goes to sleep at 5 p.m. When does she eat dinner?
Who?
Jeez, bro.
Yeah. So her sleep schedule's bananas, but I feel bad for the people that have to wake up early. They don't even see daylight by the time they get out of work. The sun setting. I- It's it's a
Dude,
little depressing.
imagine like, oh my gosh, waking up, getting your coffee, and then getting off work and going home and it just being dark. That's what it was like when we went to school. I remember when I was in high school, we'd get out at like 4 or something, and this time of year, like there
Yeah.
was no time to do a single thing outside. Like you were
No.
literally just stuck.
Yeah, by the time you get out, it's already dark.
All right, let's start talking about CPI. What are you feeling about the whole shebang?
Do you is so I forget who I was talking about this with. I think Gaba in my Discord. I believe it might have been Gaba. He said that no, I may be wrong. He said that he saw two different forecasts. He saw 7.9% and 8.1%. Did you see a specific number?
I'm gonna
Because
Google it. Let me. Well, actually, I'll pull it up in
when I
my.
look, yeah, when I looked, I saw 7.9%, but I don't remember through which outlet. Um,
Let me check it out. There's got to be. Oh, that's from today. Lame. Okay, I'll have to go on. I was gonna try to do it just via the bot in my Discord, but it was only today's CPI projections. Let's see what it says, and then we'll talk about what we think would be the best trading plan for this, and then we'll talk about how
yep.
to handle it, and then forecasts expect it to dip barely below 8% year over year. It is predicted to be 7.9% year over year. That is a
That's what I was.
median forecast, though. Um, that's kind of
I
nice, though, because it'll at least be lower than September if that actually happens. But if we come in above September's, we're fucked.
If we come in above September's number, it's gonna be chaos. If we come in as expected, I think we'll have the pre-market sell-off like we always do, and then I remember I think it was last time we had the sell-off, and then we ended up closing like way green. It was like a pretty significant bounce back. It's always tough with CPI because the numbers come out at 8:30.
So
So
hard
if
to
you're
trade.
Yeah, so if you're overnighting stuff, you're at the mercy of the open and
Yeah.
waiting that hour. Um, I don't personally like to overnight stuff in a CPI. Um, I do like to play the open, but I do not like to really overnight stuff. But I don't know. Like you said, if it comes in over, then it's gonna be a disaster, I think.
Here's my opinion. I kind of think we're going to do the exact same thing as last CPI, or maybe not last CPI, but one of the CPIs recently. Let me check it out. I think we're going to open like mad low, like oh yes, exactly. On the 13th of October, I think there could be a really similar candle to this where we like open fucking at like 370, maybe even like 360 something, 368, something crazy, and then we're gonna shoot up after open. And my reasoning for that is like we had downside today, and for some reason in economic events lately, if there's been downside like the day before or even the day of, if it's like midday event, then usually we see like a lot more of the risk reward being towards the upside. And I feel like that might be the same exact thing here, where we might see that terrible initial reaction, but then we're going to see it climb back up and react well to it for some reason. And I also feel like with it being the first month over month, or decrease in inflation, or it might be the second, but one of the first or second like indicators that inflation might have topped. I feel like initially they're going to be like the reaction is going to be really bad, like inflation is still nearly 8%. But I think that the fact that it's actually showing topping behavior could be good in the medium term, which I mean medium term isn't really medium term. I mean like tomorrow midday rather than tomorrow at open. Like short term would be tomorrow at open, and then medium term for that would be midday. We're starting to see that topping inflation action, and if this even comes in, I would expect if this comes in right at forecasted for it to tank. If it comes in above forecast for it to tank, and if it comes in, below forecast, we'd be talking about something maybe a little bit different. Like it could just go flat or have a little pop into open and then run all day. But I think probably the biggest thing that I see happening would be a big dip at open, like you said, or right before open, and then possibly the ladder back up. And I mean, I just want to be clear here, dude. We nailed fucking FOMC last time on this podcast. Like I think we actually hit it right on the head, if I remember right. Like we were talking about, I don't remember if we talked action after FOMC or if we talked action before, but whatever it was, we fucking absolutely killed it.
Yeah, I think somebody asked us a question about if we would range or like what we thought would happen, and I think we were pretty accurate with the way SPY behaved. Um, but I'm pretty positive last CPI was on the 13th. If you look at the 13th,
I'll go back to
we,
the 10 minute or something.
yeah, if you look at the 13th, I mean, it was a pretty aggressive move. And from the low to, the high was a 20-point move. Um, so it was an
Yeah.
extremely aggressive bounce back. Am I expecting a 20-point move? Probably not. Um, but like we were saying, I think if it's around or if it's at the forecast, it's gonna be, what we normally get the flush out in pre-market and then we end up running. So that's kind of my approach to it. If it's some you know adverse number or unexpected number, then it's anybody's guess. But
Yeah. I agree. Like I think it's safe to say if it's between like 7.8 and like 8.1, which is usually they're pretty close on it. Like usually there's not some crazy outlier. Maybe even like 7.7 to 8.1. So if it's within that um, zero point 0.2 buffer on each side, I feel like we have a pretty good idea of what would happen, the dip and then the rip.
yeah,
But if we
well,
get like a 7.6 or if we get like an 8.3, fucking crazy things could happen. Like we could see if we got, let's just talk about both of those scenarios based on the daily here. If we were to see, you know, shit. Where am I? Oh, here we are. If we were to get like something crazy like 8.3, 8.4 come through, there's a chance that tomorrow ends up being like a 4% day, like we've seen, where SPY tanks like $12, $14, something crazy like that. And you could see 62 on that. You could see a candle all the way down here. You'd probably open if it was crazy high inflation numbers that came out. You'd probably open at 370, just like we've predicted you'll open, regardless of the outcome. And then you'd probably just see that waterfall down. There'd be tons of selling if we had crazy, crazy inflation numbers, which would be probably above 8.1, I think would be considered something that would cause the market to absolutely tank. What do you think, Tony, if we were to see something super high in the inflation?
If we see some really high number, I agree. I mean, if I just don't see a scenario where we would do anything but tank, but I don't know. There's been some weird days where we kind of run off really bad news. Like I can remember specifically the news of Russia invading Ukraine.
Yeah.
For whatever weird reason, it was like a crazy day.
I remember that.
There's been some crazy days, but if it comes in like the number's super inflated, I don't think it's. I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty aggressive, flush out probably majority of the day. I wanted to say something. Oh, just looking at the daily, a potential little, I don't know if you want to call it demand or a little bounce spot that I would be looking at would be around 368 to 370. We had a super aggressive bounce off that on the 4th, which was last Friday. I'm talking from the low to the high, it was almost a 10-point move. So I would expect there to, be some buyers located between 368 and 370. So maybe just a level to watch into tomorrow.
I kind of drew it on there so that they can see it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's perfect. The other thing is we are set up. If anybody knows about the triple crosses I talk about in my Discord, we are set up for a triple cross on the daily, where the 9, 20, and 30 would be crossing. And that could also give us some downward pressure. The last time we had a cross on the daily, we actually ran
Right here.
About 18 points.
And look at this cross to the downside, and then look at everything that follows that.
Yeah, also the last time we had a cross to the downside was back in August, and we proceeded to drop from 410 to 350. So that's something to pay attention to. We don't get these crosses on the daily often, but when we do, they're pretty aggressive, and they last a good amount of time. So just something to maybe keep in mind.
Dude, they're fucking crazy. Like if you just go back and look at like this cross too, as if you would have bought on the day of this cross, you would have been buying at 385, and you would have, what is that? You would have closed at 435. If you would have bought, if you would have bought here, you would have been short at like, what is that? 445, and then you would have probably gotten downside all the way to 385. Like the crosses have been working.
Yeah, they basically just indicate, for anybody that's wondering, is they just basically indicate like a change in trend. They're applicable in all time frames, but when you're looking at something like the daily or the weekly, that's basically showing you, a potential forecast for what's to come for an extended period of time. So, and it's the 9, 20, and 30. Those are the ones that I use. So
yeah, we got some questions here in the chat. First off, someone wants to know, is Tony developing some film? Are you developing some film? Let the people know, Tony.
Because of my my light,
I guess
I am not developing film.
It would be cool if you were. You just had pictures of stock charts on your computer.
It's just all charts hanging up on it.
All right, let's see. Also, here's the deal, guys. If you guys want to make this a little Q&A session, just keep the questions rolling, and we'll just keep answering them as we go because we got a couple of them here now. But if you guys were to drop, 3 or 4 more, 5, 6, 7, if you were to drop 20 more, I would hang around and answer all of them for you guys. But here's the next one. Are you going to be looking at long-term common ads if CPI does well tomorrow? So say CPI comes in at like 7.7 or 7.5. Tony, what are you thinking? Long-term ads, or are you still waiting?
Um, yes and no. Yes, because um, if we are, you know, easing, or if the numbers are decreasing and, inflation is supposedly um coming to an end, quote unquote, yes. But I all my decisions are based off technicals. So for example, I like Amazon a lot. But right now Amazon is kind of just in a free fall. I watch Amazon every week. It's something I've wanted to add long term for quite a while. Um, but just technically the chart is just like I said, it's in a free fall. There's no underlying support. So while I would like to, it for me still kind of based around, what does the chart look like? Another good example would be something like Ford. There was a lot of great opportunities to add Ford in the beginning of October. It was at a historic demand zone, and from that zone, it basically ran, $4 or $5. Um, and that was just based off technicals. Um, so, you know, I guess yes and no. How about you?
Um, I'll be honest with you. Let me get back to the Spy Daily. I'm like very very patient when it comes to these long term ads. Like I'm gonna add some that TCS swing I talked about last podcast, and I haven't even done any of that yet because I'm being super picky with it. But here's my kind of like 10 cents is if we have a really bad CPI, I think we're gonna see this 330 to 340 levels, and that would be kind of where I would be willing to add probably like this actually probably like 325 to 340 would be like my best top ad zone for like long term stuff. But if we have good CPI tomorrow, I am gonna have to be kind of ready to change that tune. Which it's possible that I'd be willing to add some stuff. Like some Ford, some Google, some Meta, some Amazon. I'd be willing to do Amazon with you too. Some Disney as well. I'm really big into Disney. I would be, but I'd have to see the market reaction. I would really want to see how the market, if the market, you know, we have good CPI in it, fails. I want to see what happens because a lot of it's going to be based on, if CPI comes in at expected and then it ends up, running to the downside all day, then I'm just going to know that people aren't ready to start buying this market yet. And if say it's, the CPI comes in as expected and it runs all day and we end up, up 10 points, then I'm going to know people are starting to think that this might be ready to dip by because inflation is topping. It's going to all depend on kind of the next 2 days and how things play out based on, tomorrow, the day of tomorrow, and then probably a bit of Friday too. But I am super interested in like I'm very very excited for tomorrow because with this being kind of the turning point of inflation, like this is going to be the time where you have to make the decision of add or don't add. So I'm glad someone asked that question. Because with inflation finally decreasing now, like we're finally finding a top area. It's like when when gas topped, that thing, it went down pretty quick. Like gas and oil shot down pretty quick. Like I remember I was paying $5 and then 3 weeks later I was paying like 330, 340, something crazy like that. Like it went down really fast. And I think inflation, I don't think it'll have that same exact, like very, very quick move down. But I think with this topping, there's a chance of people wanting to buy the dip in the market with inflation finally showing signs of maybe possibly declining. So it's going to all be based on market reaction tomorrow. So I'll lay it out in like a really, really easy to understand way. If we beat expectations of CPI and the market like tanks, I'll know that people are not ready to buy the dip on SPY yet, or this isn't even a dip at this point. They're not ready to think that this is going to reverse. If we beat expectations and SPY flies, I'm also not going to be ready to buy because I want to see a few more days. I want to make sure that it wasn't just because of the CPI beat. If CPI comes in near, right around where it's expected, and the market, absolutely flies, then that's going to be when I'm very, very interested. Or if it even comes in at, 8.0 and the market flies, I'm going to be very, very interested in going long on some stuff just based on the fact that that's showing that people are ready to buy this as a possible bottom. Because here's the thing with the technicals of SPY is we haven't seen a higher low yet on SPY at all on this this bear market that we're in right now, and we have the possibility of having our first higher low if CPI comes in nice tomorrow. CPI comes in and the market reaction is good, we could see a higher low for the first time in I don't even know. When was the last time we saw a higher low? November of 2021. So a full year was the last time we saw a higher low. On the weekly at least. The daily is probably a little bit different. All right. Tony, do you ever swing options? That's our next question.
Absolutely not.
I don't either.
No, it's like swinging more than holding something overnight. No. I'll overnight stuff on occasion, but if we're talking like holding stuff for weeks or months, no, I do not do that.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I'll do overnights is for like lotto plays, like only earnings pretty much. Like the only time I ever do that is if it's a big time earnings play that I'm feeling very, very confident about. But if it's something that is not even, like if I was looking at like I'm looking at TCS for a possible reversal swing. If I was, I found options on that and I was like, oh, maybe I should swing options on this. The amount of like extra fucking curricular activity, which that's a terrible way to say it, but there's a bunch of extracurricular activity going on with your options. They're burning while you're sitting on them. You got time working against you, and it's hard to make swings work enough with commons. Like it's hard enough to do it if you're trading, TCS commons to make sure that you buy the right time and buy the right dip and stuff. You can be completely right on the thesis, but if you buy into options, like say you take calls, you could have just taken the wrong time and they end up down 20% before the thing starts to move, and then you've gotten theta burned on top of that, and then you should be at a point where you're making money on commons, but now you're still down 5% because it'd probably even be bigger. It'd probably be like you're down 50% and then you get to where you should be break even and then you're still down 20% because of the theta burn. It just isn't really my game. I think commons are way, way better for me personally, just because I know that they're not going to going to have time working against me, and also have a bunch of Greeks that I need to know and monitor every single day. So yeah, it's super, super out of character if I swing trade something, but maybe in the future, maybe I'll become the type of person that likes to swing trade options. Who knows?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, go ahead.
if you're trying to swing options, you just really need to have a grasp of the Greeks, because you could be right and still be wrong. So
Yeah. Bro, we got to talk about quickly. Me and you have been watching like some banger shows. Did you keep watching The Patient?
yeah, I'm on what episode am I on? I am on. Uh, I don't want to see. I don't want to spoil it
I've seen it
for
all.
anybody. No,
Oh
for
no, but
anybody
for
that.
other people, for other people.
Yeah, I'm on like the sixth episode, I think.
Okay, that's when things get good.
Yeah.
Dude, the ending of The Patient is so there's like one thing that you very clearly want to happen. That thing, like if that couldn't happen, then like the ending is just perfect.
hmm
You said I need to watch The Cabinet of Curiosities or something like that.
Yeah, I just started watching that a couple days ago. Like each episode's different. Um, it's by Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, so it's like a
It's
Black Mirror type of thing, like where it's like they're not connected.
yeah, it's really good. I like it. And then I want to watch that. I think it's 1899, the one that's the same actors from Dark, the show you're watching now.
Oh, Dark is so good, man. Dark is
Yeah,
so good.
Dark's good. If you can just get past the fact that it's in another language, um,
Yeah, I've honestly like haven't watched. The only thing I watched before this, I mean, I've probably watched like 3 or 4 TV shows in other languages, but I like try to avoid them. But this one is just like it's too good to avoid. Like I'm absolutely
Yeah.
fucking hooked.
Yeah, it's great. The story's like unique and the acting is really good and
I also we finished The Watcher. The first like 3 episodes were really good, and then I thought it was really bad after that. Like it just like
I just
got
hated the ending.
yeah, the ending was trash,
Well,
dude. It
that's
was
how
fucking
all Ryan
terrible.
Murphy's stuff is.
It was super good, and then it just all of a sudden wasn't. Like it was just really bad.
Yeah, Ryan Murphy, he's the one that does all the American Horror Stories. All his every show he does is like that. It's
That's
like unsatisfying.
that's bogus. That is really really bogus. Question for you from the chat. What are your thoughts on swinging oil stocks on the pullback? So we can just pull up like ZOM or something, and we can talk kind of just base it around ZOM because that's a pretty big. Oh wow, dude, that thing is not really having a pullback.
Yeah, that's the tough thing is if it if you get a good area to purchase it, um, like technically, then go for it. Oil is always a good choice during inflationary times. Um, but if you're buying something that's pretty overextended like that,
Yeah,
it's gonna be pretty difficult to justify. Um, if you don't think, or if you think that we still got a long ways to go until, inflation is done, then, maybe look for a ad at some point, but something like that's pretty overextended. It's gonna be hard to justify that.
this is what he said in the chat. He's actually looking at is Oxy, OXY. And when I look at that, I look at like it almost looks like a triple top in this supply zone that it's found right around what is that
Uh,
73 to $76. Um, well, it's still creating higher low. This is the weekly. I need to get off the weekly. I need to get on the
Milo
daily.
likes Oxy, I think. I see Milo in chat.
From a fundamental perspective, I think Oxy is a great bet. But from a technical perspective, it definitely does not look great right now. I know. I think he's probably interested in it because yesterday it was at $75 and today it's at 67, $68 after close.
I think Oxy's the one that Buffett keeps adding.
It's one of his. I think it's one of his top 10 holdings right now.
Yeah.
I would say personally, I think a good place to add Oxy would be like on this trend line down here. So like wait for possibly $60 or $62. Like have a buy zone of 62 all the way down to 60. And that'll give you a pretty good spot here because if you look at this bottom trend line on the daily, it's been bouncing in that zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and it just rejected the supply zone above. So I think come down to 62 to 60 would probably be the best spot to end up buying this.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you love something. Um, you still kind of have to make a technical decision paired with like conviction. So,
I agree. I 100% agree. Someone asked, "Why do you think Amazon has been dropping lately?" What do you think, Tony? I know that you've been keeping your eye on that.
um,
I'll pull up the chart here quick.
I don't know when it was. They had, well, their earnings was, when was their earnings? 2 weeks ago? A week ago? Um, and I think they had a pretty poor earnings. Uh, some report came out. I don't remember when this was. This might have been around when earnings got released about um, them laying a lot of people off. So they've just had some, not a great earnings, a little bit of bad news, and they're also just at the mercy of the market. Um, Amazon's something that's going to be in trend with the overall market. Um, and that's just the market we're currently living in. But like I said before, I love Amazon. I would love to start accumulating Amazon. Um, it's been in a free fall, and there really is no underlying support. If you want to start adding Amazon now, I would just know in the back of your mind that there is no underlying, so it could continue to work its way down for quite a while. You would just have to slowly accumulate that.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, it was kind of the combination of the earnings, which I mean they beat on EPS, which is usually solid sign, but then they missed on revenue, which isn't that big of a deal. But I think it was more so the stuff they said during that call, the earnings call, which caused them to absolutely tank. Like they were like 110, and then the next day they opened at 98. And then that had them breaking this really, really key support, which was like, I think it was basically like 101 to like 105 was super key support. And they ended up busting it. And then now we're at $86. And for me, I mean, I feel like we're at a decent spot to like possibly be adding some, but just know that we could be seeing, $70 pretty soon. And under 70, things get a little bit crazier. Like we would probably see 50 under 70. But there's a chance we bounce here at 86. There's a chance we bounce at 70. And for me, technically, there's a chance we bounce at 50. But those are also back in 2019 and 2018 and 2017. So you have to question, the validity of those technical areas because sometimes as enough time passes, it's not quite as strong of a support as if it was last year or earlier this year, that kind of thing.
There was a question. I think I might have missed it. Do you think red days are a necessary evil? Absolutely.
100%. You learn so
Um,
much from red days, in my opinion.
yeah, those are the days where you're gonna learn the most, honestly, if you have the right mindset about it. And don't just kind of completely shut off and feel bad for yourself or um then on the flip side there's going to be days where you may have taken really great trades, but you're just at the mercy of the market for whatever reason. The market was just unpredictable that day. A trade that normally would do well for you, like technically just kind of broke down, and you may be red for that reason too. So like reviewing everything is important to know, okay, is my strategy still working, or maybe my strategy needs to be refined. Because if you're taking good technical entries and you're just at the mercy of the market, there's no reason to deviate from that. So those, yeah, like long story short, those are some of the best days that you'll have and learn the most from.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have to come right back into this for our second half here. You guys just stick around and I'll send you another invite, Tony.
Okay.
Well, you guys get some one-on-one time with me here. I don't know how I don't have pro yet. Don't ask me. I'm not sure. I feel like I should have it. Okay, I'm sending Tony the invite right now. So, well, I hope you guys had a good day and hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm just ready because tomorrow we get some real action. Okay, we need to talk about a couple more of these questions, and then we need to talk about the Bitcoin fiasco that we're going to talk about. Someone explained it to me in my Discord earlier. I'm not a huge crypto guy, but I will do my best to give you guys my quick opinion about it after we finish these questions. So, somebody said Tesla is also on long key support today. So I will share my screen and we can check that out quick and give you a quick opinion, and then we will move to the next question. All right, so Tesla, it says, is on long-term key support today. It looks like it broke it today. Looks like there was a lot of support in this, about like 180-ish area. But then there's also this one down here below at like 170. What are you feeling, Tony?
Let me pull Tesla up. If I'm being honest, I do not pay attention to Tesla at all whatsoever. I really don't like Tesla.
Kind of a fucky stock, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't trade it. I don't like Tesla. But we are at a pretty key level, it looks like. We're right around the weekly 200s. We actually just broke the weekly 200 EMA. We do have the regular 200 MA sitting right around 160. We are actually currently slicing through a demand zone as well, where we've bounced 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 times. So similar to Amazon, breaking that kind of means that there really is not a whole lot of underlying support outside of, something like that weekly 200 that we still have sitting around 160. A break on that, and it's anybody's guess where this ends up. It looks awful.
Look at this red volume the past 4 days.
Yeah, it's under all daily moving averages. The only thing left standing is that weekly 200. So, um, I, you know, I would expect a bounce, at least a short-term bounce off that weekly 200. When you approach these weekly EMAs, you almost always see at least some sort of interaction, whether that bounces and push us back through supply or not. I'm not sure, but yeah, the chart looks pretty bad.
Yeah, I would say if you're looking to go long on Tesla, I would say do some fundamental analysis on it because for me, I just talked about it in my last weekly watch list. The PE ratio and their EPS growth, I don't think that they're going to be able to have a normal PE ratio for a tech company unless we see them come down to, I mean, like $100, in my opinion, is where I would start to think about buying Tesla. It's likely not to hit $100 just based on people like forward thinking investors who really like them and really like the fact that they beat earnings almost every single time around, and they've had a good track record of helping out investors. So it's likely not to get down to $100. But right now, for me, the if you're looking at long term Tesla, the PE ratio, and I think there's going to be a lot of market distribution in the electric vehicle world, and I think that Tesla's going to have to give up a bit of their market cap to names like Ford, names like GM, names like Toyota. If they don't, then maybe that their market cap can be would be worthy of what it is right now. A few years down the road, and then I'd be interested in buying. But right now, I'm just not interested in buying Tesla long term based on fundamentals. Technically, it looks really bad as well. Like Tony was saying, like we just broke through something completely massive, that 200 level. The volume has been terrible the past 4 days, as in it looks really good if you're a bear, really bad if you're a bull. So I'm feeling like Tesla would be a kind of a just keep on the back burner for now if I had to give my honest opinion on it. Someone says, any bios you're following? I know it's not a hot sector. I can start there. I'm personally just following XBI. I'm really interested in buying this as a long term position. Come when the market feels like it's finally going to turn itself around and give us a bull market again. Which who knows? Could be 6 months, could be a year, could be 2 years. Who knows? But I want to have an XBI position. And if we go to this weekly, considering we topped out at $170. This is an entire market we're talking about. XBI is like the SPY of biotech. And so for it to have topped out above $175 and now it's $77, we're below the COVID crash. We are as low. What is $75? The last time, before the COVID crash, $75 was kind of a 2017. It was $75, and then in December 18, and then the COVID crash was at $75. So we're at an area where it feels like this is it's been a long time. Has the biotech industry not grown since 2017, or was it overvalued for that entire period? Who knows? But I personally think that biotech has a future, and I think that this is going to be a good buy. If this were to come back down to $65 into this demand zone formed by these two candles, then I would really think about adding some of this long. And also considering the volume increase we've seen over the past. Is that about the year? Over the past year, we've seen such a big volume increase. Probably has to do with it being this heavy of a downtrend. But I am interested in XBI long term. I know that's not a bio, like you were looking maybe for a small tech bio, that kind of thing. But I'm interested in the entire sector as a whole, considering it's down from $175 to $77. You got any bios, Tony? Or are you just kind of
Absolutely not.
Dude, that's the thing. Oh, dude, we're gonna have to talk about something real quick on here. If you're in my Discord, I apologize. You guys are gonna hear this rant for the second time in the same probably 12 hours. Today, I had the pleasure of having almost a mental breakdown. Maybe an anger attack is the right word. Because I saw someone on Twitter pushing coin as a great investment yesterday or 3 days ago or 2 days ago after the FTK Bitcoin, like the FTK crypto space, terrible news, telling everyone that they doubled down on it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I know.
Yeah, football player.
Oh.
Yeah. I saw someone telling their followers that they doubled down their position into $1 million position on coin. And I just want to say to anyone who is listening, I usually have no issues with people saying, things on FinTwit. But here's the thing. Please do not go out there and invest in companies that do not make themselves money. Think about the reason you're investing. To make money. And how do you make money? By the share price increasing. And what do you need for the share price to increase? The company to make money. So please do not go invest in companies that don't make money. There's a speculative, investment phase. There's a speculative investment paradigm out there that might make sense, investing in something, but that should be like 1% of your portfolio. That should be 5% of your long-term portfolio at the maximum are these speculative, things that don't have, cash flow, things that aren't making real money. You can have those, just make it a very small position. You should not be having a large portion of your position doubling down on these positions on companies that don't make money. They have to make money. That's the thing. They have to make money. It has to be that simple. If you're going to buy a company, it has to make money. If you want a long-term hold, it needs to make money. Be speculative sometimes. Have a bio long term. I had a bio long term for a while and ended up getting burned on it. But some of them, they make a lot of money. Like some of them, you make a shitload of money on these speculative stuff. But for the most part, buy stocks that make money. You need their EPS to be above zero. You need it to be above zero if it's going to be in your IRA. And if it's below zero, it has to be 5% or less. Make those rules for yourself. Because it's just not good for you to have speculative stocks. You're going to end up like ARK. And we can go look at ARK if you'd like. We come from a market where, you were able to buy all these speculative plays that weren't making any money down here. Oh, you're able to, and then, oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my gosh, look at everything is working. Companies that don't make money are, tripling in 3 weeks. This is the greatest market ever. And then this is what happens when you buy companies that don't make money and you just make yourself a business, but not a business, basically an investment firm. If you were to make your own little investment firm and you were to take after ARK, which is buying companies that don't make money and buying speculative plays, you would have lost, let's see here, you're $170, $160 would now be $30. And that's just going to continue until this market gets easier. And we don't know when this market's going to get easier. And we probably will never see a market again that was like 2020. So just get into the habit of having good long-term investment habits, which is buying companies that make money. It's really that simple. And if you have a large Twitter following and you're listening to this and you're telling people to buy companies long-term that don't make money, you need to reevaluate yourself as a large Twitter fucking profile. And you need to also reevaluate your own investment because you're going to lose a lot of money in the long term. I got really angry this morning about that, dude. I was absolutely fucking heated about that. Like I was absolutely posted up when I saw that coin was down like 13%. Man,
I don't know why you still have Twitter.
I probably shouldn't, dude. I told people I'm going to be gone here soon enough, but look at this. In the last 2 days, this is when it was tweeted about double down, $75, all the way down to $45. Let's just, and then look at this, dude. Let me go to their daily. I just have to show you this. This is just absolutely on my, lost $5 per share. You lost $5 per share in August. That's just bad. We do need to talk about Bitcoin though. I am ready to read this tweet. Sorry, I have a tweet up that's called like FTX for Dummies. So we're gonna read through that and we're going to. It's called FTX, right?
I believe so.
Because we need to talk about like Bitcoin long term a bit too. All right, so FTX for Dummies, just so that me and you can kind of, have a baseline, because I don't feel like talking about it myself because I'd probably absolutely butcher it. But I did do some research this morning about it, and I have a kind of like a fundamental opinion about it. But this is the tweet, and kudos to, it's from Kevin Ethan Rockstow. Today I want to discuss how fucked up the crypto world is, the fall of FTX for Dummies, and how did this happen, a thread. So FTX was a small startup compared to Binance. It had a steady growth. Binance was established already. So it was basically kind of like a little sister to Binance. Kind of like, if you want to think about it in a way, it was like Amazon, and then there was like a Wish sort of thing. But don't think of it as shitty as Wish. So Binance buys shares in FTX, just as Kenya Airways would buy shares in Tanzania Airways, just like Amazon would buy shares of Wish, that sort of thing. Both operating in the same kind of niche. FTX soon outgrows all other, I don't even know what that word is, all other similar exchanges such as Coinbase, Paxful, CoinMama, etc., just to become number 2 behind Binance. So imagine Wish, became really popular and made its way all the way up to second behind Amazon. Anyone would be threatened by this. Binance was not immune to being threatened by it. FTX initiates a transaction to pay off Binance for their earlier investment in them. To pay off Binance, FTX proposed to pay them in a form of token, crypto, called FTT, that was invented by FTX as a trading fee. Binance agrees and fishes out $2 billion worth of FTT. So they paid them back for their investment because Binance was feeling threatened by them. $2 billion worth of FTT makes Binance a humongous whale. So basically, like, they have a ton of this FTT. It'd be like if, Tony bought up, half of the float of a small cap. He would be a whale of that small cap. Binance announced that FTX started a rumor about them to get them in trouble with the authorities. So basically, FTX then crossed Binance while Binance was a whale in their token FTT. So what did Binance do? They decided they were going to sell that $2 billion stash of FTT, which caused massive panic. Investors started shorting, everyone sold. The coin lost 16% value in hours, and FTT was plunging so bad they needed more capital and they didn't have. And FTX could not support the FTT token from the bear run, and all cryptos are backed by actual money. So FTX was losing the money as it was happening in real time, and everyone kept selling, and then basically this boom, 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 boom. You guys know how that works. Someone sells, someone big, and then everyone kind of just goes on top of it, and keeps selling and keeps selling and keeps selling. So that's kind of what happened with FTX. And I'm gonna pull up the FTX chart. I don't even know if it's on here. I'm not really a crypto. FTT. Yeah, you guys can see what we've had happen. It was $26 as of last week, 2 weeks ago, $26, and now it is $2.40. And then we can also see what that has done to the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin. I don't know why I said the Bitcoin. That was kind of made me laugh. But it's 21K as of Friday, and now it is 15.6K as of today. Tony, what do you think? I think this is pretty similar to when we've seen banks failing over in China. It feels a bit like that, where we saw, was it, I don't remember what it was, but we saw a bank having a massive um, bankruptcy deal. It feels similar to that, except it's impacting the crypto world massively, absolutely massively, and it's also showing that big companies in the crypto world are not immune to things like this. So like names like Binance, names like Coinbase are not immune to this happening to them personally, which is pretty crazy to think about. If this were to happen to Coinbase, it would be possible that Coinbase would be a $2 stock now if this would have been them instead of FTX. And it's crazy that crypto is kind of this. It feels like the Wild West right now. Like it feels like there's a lot of shit happening. And so, how are you feeling about possibly investing in a crypto long term now that you've seen what one company's failure can do to the entire market?
Um, if you've been, I think if you've been at like, or if you've known me, or you've been around me, or like been in my Discord, or talked to me, on Twitter, or seen me tweet, or the podcast, by now that I'm really not a believer in crypto. Um, I wouldn't say I hate crypto, but I am, I don't like the unknown of what crypto is. I've never liked it. I think, in my opinion, if I am trying to make money, I think there are far better options. I think people get caught up in the allure of, crypto's the future, and when back in the day when these coins used to 10 times overnight or whatever they would do, and people were making, loads and loads of money, 95% of the time it was off of, somebody tweeting something or some kind of scheme or something. I've never been a believer in crypto. I think, like I said, if I'm trying to make money, there are far better options for me. Um, I don't like crypto long term. Again, that's just my personal opinion. I think there's a million and one different coins now. 99.999% of those will be nothing. There's the main few like Ethereum, Bitcoin, that, um, you know, if crypto sticks around, those will be the leaders in that. Um, but if I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart now, to think that I would, think about adding this at 15K, I would never do that. I don't know if I would ever add Bitcoin. Um, it's just not for me, and that's just my personal opinion. But I think there's too much shady stuff that goes on surrounding crypto in particular.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it happen two different times now where um, something that everyone thought was stable absolutely fucking destroyed all investors. Like we've seen Luna. That was absolutely crazy. Everyone thought FTX. It was one of the bigger names in crypto. It was one of the bigger names in wallet services. Actually, don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's right, but it was one of the bigger names. It rose to second behind Binance, and now we saw, tons of investors just get fucked, and so it makes you really wonder how much can Bitcoin grow without something similar happening to it, or something similar happening to another big name that would cause Bitcoin to die again. Um, my thing has been I've been really interested in the Bitcoin cycle as of late, and if you've been around, Bitcoin long enough, then you've seen these cycles that Bitcoin has, where you see it run, and then you see it dip for like it's a 3 year cycle, I believe. I posted it on Twitter today, where it runs and then it dips and then it reaches those highs again, and we're coming up on the time, and it also has to do with the halving time for Bitcoin, and I think we're coming up on the time where it could be a possible dip buy zone, like we saw, back in 2019, we saw 14K. And so we're coming up on a long-term support if it were to come down on that. But here's the deal, guys: is with this, it's scaring the shit out of me because if all of those names like Luna and FTX can just get yanked below, fucking down. What are they? It's like 99% on all of them, and then they go down another 99% after that. Is what happened with Luna. Um, then Bitcoin can just, it could not even fucking worry about technicals. It could see this 14K and be at 10K, in 2 days. A couple bad things happen and Bitcoin is gone, and investors are completely, fucked over. And so it makes me question because I initially wanted to go long on Bitcoin under 15K. It was between 15 and like 13 that I really wanted to add my first position. It's making me question it just based on this whole debacle with all of these being able to just completely rug pull. I know that Bitcoin is very unlikely to rug pull, but if there were to be more and more of these instances where something big like this happens in the cryptosphere. I think that's a new word I just created. If like these big instances of bearish action were to continue, then like we could see Bitcoin just continue to just tank. Like it could get nasty. It could get very, very ugly for Bitcoin. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to kind of just keep doing my thing where I just watch it mostly. But I am interested in going along on Bitcoin. I would definitely need to do a lot more research because I haven't done as much research as I should on something that I'm going to possibly invest in. So I will keep looking into it. But like I said before, the possibility of these major crashes continuing to happen should have everyone fearful of investing in Bitcoin, to say the least, or investing in other cryptos like ETH. I know a lot of people invest in things like that. It should have you fearful, seeing what a few failures can do to the entire crypto market. Yeah, be careful, guys. Be careful out there. Be very, very, you know, I don't even know the right word. Just make sure that you're watching your positions very closely, is what I was pretty much meaning to say. Scary, dude. It is terrifying out there. It feels like it's like a like penny land, but it's just crypto instead.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think I don't know, if I'm trying to put money into something long term, which you would be doing if you're trying to invest in something like Bitcoin, I just think there's, a lot better established options where you're still gonna make, money. I think people see oh well, this is 15K, I'm gonna ride it back to 60K and make 50K, and it doesn't work like that. Um, but
Yeah,
that's just kind of my 2 cents on it.
I think I agree. Honestly, you're gonna have to play the cards close to your chest with it and make sure that you feel like you're completely out of the water of any of these failures happening again. Because I mean, investors in crypto have gotten burned so bad,
Yeah.
so fucking bad the past year. Is it more
Nope.
than a year now?
It's been since November of last year.
Absolutely crazy, man.
So,
Absolutely crazy. Damn. Yeah, that's burned an absolute ton of people. Just before we go, I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask any more questions you guys want to ask. So if you're here and in the chat, again, we want to say thank you guys for tuning in. We've had, it's ticked up to 35, 40 people and ticked back down to 20 and stuff. So we're reaching a decent amount of people. So if there's anyone who has any questions left, type them in the chat. We'll hang out for another minute or two just talking about some random bullshit. And then if we see you guys have questions, then we will answer them. So Tony, how does it feel to be a Steelers fan? That was my question that I had for you. If I was in the chat, that'd be what I would ask, and that'd be what I
it
would be
almost
asking
feels
you.
as bad as being a Raiders fan.
Oh, dude, if Anthony's here, he's gonna fucking.
Anthony's not here.
I think you're actually in a better spot than being a Raiders fan.
I don't know. I feel like it's at this point, it's literally everything. Like everything is the problem.
Yeah.
There's not just one. It's just legitimately
It's just pain.
everything, from the coaches to the offensive line to the quarterback to the defense. It's legitimately everything. It's just all my sports teams. It's just depressing anymore. But at least the Vikings are doing well.
I know, man. I think I'm even quoted on a few of our episodes of the Halt saying like, I think the Vikings could be good this year, but I didn't want to commit to it because I knew that there was a chance they just went full Vikings. And dude, they're
Yeah.
actually winning now, and I'm so happy. I did see on like some Steelers news pages that you guys are gonna possibly split carries between Najee and Warren.
Dude, oh my gosh, I wish you know Dustin.
Oh, dude.
I wish Dustin was in here because I told my friend Dustin that Teddy also knows. I told Dustin since preseason, I said, dude, I don't know what it is, but like this Warren kid, like he passes the eye test. Like I think he's better than Najee. And he roasted me so bad.
Dude, he's got some pop in his step.
He just I don't know what it is. He doesn't dance in the backfield. He just finds a hole and hits it. And he has a really nice burst out of the backfield. He looks 10 times better than Najee, and it's sad to think that we wasted a first round pick on Najee if he's just going to be another Trent Richardson.
Dude, Warren reminds me of Darren Sproles. He has
Oh,
got
Hudok's
that
in here.
burst. Who bibbity bop.
Yeah, Hudak knows. I've been saying him. We've been talking about him for a while.
Oh, for sure. I remember like months ago when he'd had like it was like 2 games in, you guys were like, this Warren guy is fucking good. Dude, we
Yeah.
can tie everything together with this episode by talking about Tom Brady now and his $650 million investment into FTK. Did you see that?
Wait, how much?
His entire fortune with Giselle, he was investing in FTK.
His entire fortune.
That's what he said. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look at this. Let me Google it. FTK investment, or is it FTK or FTX? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. FTX. Sorry. Yeah, he is caught in the FTX fallout. Risks losing complete strategic investment. Yeah, so he invested. So him and Giselle together decided that they were going to invest like a heavy portion of their entire, not their entire thing, sorry, so a heavy portion, so like somewhere around like at least like 50 million or something, and they
Why?
decided they were going to invest it in FTK.
Why?
And
Somebody had to like
dude,
advise
right,
them to do that. That doesn't
like
make
why
any
would
sense.
you tell them to invest in a crypto that's like I don't know. I don't know. People,
That's awful.
that's the downfall of crypto. And me and you were talking about it last season of the Halt a lot because we got a lot of crypto questions. Is it's very, very Wild West. It is very, very Wild West. And now we're seeing it. This is two in the past like 6 months.
That's have you guys ever tried to get friends and family to invest? Yeah, Nick, I actually was building an account for my little brother for a while before he turned 18. I talked to my other brother quite a bit about um, you know, some long-term stuff. Um, but yeah, definitely family and friends and um I know Huda. I don't know if Hudak's still in here, but he's one of my best friends, and um, I trade with him, and he's you know, really into the market. So yeah, absolutely.
I my family not super, I tell them kind of like when I think they should when I think they should start to like think about repositioning. Like I told my parents that they should think about like drawing out some funds in like last year. I think it was too early. It was like August or something or somewhere around like when SPY was like 40 for like maybe 450. I don't remember when it was, but when SPY got up there, I told them they should think about like maybe taking some stuff out and waiting to buy another dip. They didn't listen to me, but they would have saved a lot of money if they would have done that. And I have friends who invest, and a few of them are trying to do it full time. Super cool to see that. I try to let them have their space, but it's super cool to have friends that are trying to do that as well. I go golfing with them every once in a while, and we always talk about how they're doing and stuff. A lot of them are just learning the SPY option scalp game right now, and doing pretty well. I have friends that I've talked to about investing that just got into like lotto type stuff, lost a whole bunch of money, and then never did it again. So
That's
yeah,
typically how that goes.
yeah, I told some people about it, and some people have taken it and ran, and some people had their experience with it and decided it was not for them. So yeah, I do. I think it's good to talk about. The one thing I will say is, going to family Thanksgivings. Everyone likes to think that they know more about finance than me. I'll tell you that one. Everyone, well, what about inflation? How are you combating that? I bet you don't even. I bet you're doing. How are you making money in a bear market? It's not possible. And I'm like, okay, I don't feel like being an asshole right now, but
Yeah.
um, like it's so funny. Like I always have like I have like three uncles that'll just be like, there's no making money in the bear market, so what are you doing for a job? And like won't even give me a chance to say like, well, actually, I am making money in the bear market. It's always funny.
Yeah, they it doesn't matter what you say either.
I
It's not
know.
they wouldn't even believe you.
And then I actually have one uncle that's a well, I actually hate this uncle. So if you're listening to this, uncle, I don't like you.